First at 9 this Monday, the 2nd of June 2025. Responsible taxation. President Derana vows to safeguard taxpayers' money. Emphasizes that this will be the final occasion Sri Lanka enters into an extended loan program with the IMF. New beginning. 161 local government institutions commence operations today. Leadership of 178 local authorities without a single party majority to be decided through the intervention of local government commissioners. Election Commission informs. COVID resurgence. Epidemiology unit warns of an uptick in COVID cases in Sri Lanka in May. However, health authorities reassure the public of no immediate cause for alarm, citing existing protocols.
Cine Campus Open Day. May masa 3 වෙනි දින උදෑසන 9 සිට Cine Campus පරිශ්‍රයේදී.
This is Derana First at 9. Live from Studio 24 in Colombo.
Good evening and welcome to First at 9, brought to you by the nation's most trusted news source, Derana. I'm Tarindu Mahendra, joining you live with the latest in Sri Lanka and around the world. In our top story this evening, President Anura Dissanayake emphasizes his unwavering commitment to ensuring that not a single rupee of tax revenue will be misused or lost to corruption. Speaking at the launch of National Tax Week, the President reaffirmed his dedication to delivering justice to taxpayers by dismantling the corrupt systems that have long worked against the public interest. He further states that this should be the final occasion Sri Lanka enters into an extended loan program with the International Monetary Fund, stressing the country must now embark on an economic journey shaped by its own criteria and goals.
The inauguration ceremony of the Badu Shakti National Programme for Tax Compliance and Tax Base Enhancement was held this morning at the Presidential Secretariat under the patronage of President Anurakumara Dissanayake. Coinciding with the inauguration, Badu Shakti, a National Tax Week, was officially declared and will run from today until the 7th of the month. Throughout the week, efforts will be made to raise public awareness on the importance of tax compliance and national revenue contribution. As part of the event, President Dissanayake launched the online tax payment platform developed by the Department of Inland Revenue for the 2024-2025 assessment year. In a symbolic gesture of transparency and leadership, he submitted his own personal income tax return as the platform's first official entry.
There is a generally negative perception of taxation in our country. These attitudes have largely developed due to weaknesses in our tax administration system and public awareness of past misuse and mismanagement of tax revenues. When we examine the available data, the picture is far from encouraging. Only 43% of those registered as companies have submitted their tax returns. For the 2023-24 period, only 23% of individuals liable for income tax have filed returns. Among partnerships, the compliance rate stands at 46%. Meanwhile, just 18% of those liable for payee tax have submitted their returns. None of these figures exceed 50%, clearly indicating widespread tax non-compliance and deliberate efforts to evade taxes. The root cause of this situation lies in public criticism, particularly from taxpayers, regarding the way previous political administrations have misused tax revenues. Therefore, our foremost responsibility is to assure the people that their tax money will be used appropriately and exclusively for essential national needs. That assurance is now entrusted to me and the current political leadership. As President, I give you my personal guarantee that not a single rupee of your tax money will be wasted or misappropriated by the political authority. While our country may appear peaceful on the surface, a hidden shadow system continues to operate beneath. This underground network is run by syndicates of organized crime and has long been protected by certain political authorities. It includes complicit state officials, illegally armed individuals, and even members of the media. We are therefore confronting a highly organized and entrenched shadow system. I assure the people of this country that this system will be dismantled. We are building a nation where everyone is subject to the rule of law. The issue of public funds is not merely a matter of paying or collecting taxes. It is a deeper systemic problem. Pointing fingers at individual institutions will not solve it because it is an interconnected network. Therefore, as a state, we must be fully prepared to confront and dismantle it. Anyone unwilling to take on this responsibility is free to step aside. Unless this shadow system is broken, the country country will not be able to progress. This is why we are resolute in our commitment to dismantling this corrupt network. In this process, neither political power nor social status will be taken into account. Only by cleansing the entire shadow system can we realistically achieve our tax revenue targets. Amidst all this, I believe we have made some progress. Sri Lanka's Inland Revenue Department has reached 101% of its tax collection target for the first 5 months of 2025. The Department of Customs achieved 104% of their revenue target, while the Department of Excise achieved 106%. These figures show that we can achieve our financial targets for this year. As Treasury Secretary Mahinda Siriwardana noted, Sri Lanka had become one of the lowest tax income collecting countries in the world in recent history. To reverse this, he undertook major institutional, legislative and tax reforms. He will be retiring at the end of this month and assuming duties as an alternate executive director of the Asian Development Bank, representing 7 nations including Sri Lanka. I am especially grateful for his work, which we must recognize and appreciate. We are currently imposing an 18% VAT. While this may be reasonable from a national revenue standpoint, it is understandably burdensome for the average citizen. However, we are compelled to rely on this method for income generation. Despite the 18% VAT rate, we are not receiving the revenue we should. As a country, we must achieve a much higher tax income under this system. The loopholes and shortcomings in our tax structures are being constantly exploited to evade payment. We must foster a culture that encourages citizens to voluntarily pay and protect public taxes, not simply enforce tax compliance through orders or laws. Because we were unable to overcome this crisis on our own, we have become subject to external control. Our revenue targets are now being set by others. This year, national income must grow by 15.1%, of which 2.3% must be maintained as a primary surplus. We are required to manage the economy within the expenditure limits and revenue goals agreed upon with external stakeholders. Why? Because we were the bad child. We are now under financial guardianship. Are we to remain an economy that is always under such supervision? Certainly not. During discussions with Mahinda Siriwardana, the Secretary to the Minister of Finance, we reached a consensus. This must be the final time we enter an extended loan program with the International Monetary Fund. We must embark on an economic journey based on our own criteria and goals. Eventually, our economy must set targets aligned with public aspirations and social expectations. Yet, as it stands, we are managing an economy under partial guardianship. Our firm determination is to bring this phase of IMF oversight to an end and move forward. To do so, our government revenue must be significantly increased. 161 local government institutions in which a political party or independent group was able to secure an outright majority in the recent local government elections commenced their operations today. However, the Election Commission noted that the formation of 178 local government institutions where no single party secured a majority will be decided through the intervention of the local government commissioners.
In accordance with the Gazette notification issued by the Minister of Public Administration, Provincial Councils and Local Government on February 17th this year, a total of 161 local government institutions where a political party or an independent group won a majority of seats commenced operations today. The Election Commission recently published in the Government Gazette the names of the heads of institutions nominated by the respective political parties or independent groups in cases where there were no disputes. Accordingly, the 161 institutions for which mayors, deputy mayors, chairpersons and deputy chairpersons have been appointed include 14 municipal councils, 12 urban councils and 135 Pradeshiya Sabhas. The National People's Power managed to establish control in 151 institutions, while the Lanka Tamil Arasakacha secured power in 6. Meanwhile, the National Congress established control in both the Arakkaipattu Municipal Council and the Arakkaipattu Pradeshiya Sabha. The Sri Lanka Muslim Congress secured control of the Kathankudi Urban Council, while Independent Group Number 1 took power in the Tirukkovil Pradeshiya Sabha. Local government institutions where the ruling party holds a majority commenced their functions today with the participation of their representatives. The newly appointed mayor of the Kaduela Municipal Council, trade unionist Ranjan Jailal, assumed duties today. The Morato Municipal Council commenced its operations with the participation of the Minister of Justice and National Integration, Harshana Nanayakara.
There are two important facts to keep in mind when executing your duties. They are trust and patience. What is trust? This is a special message to our councillors. Trust your team of councillors, your target and the national people's power. Trust our unity and purpose. Do not let that trust break at any point. The second factor is patience. You must be patient when facing insults, as our opponents who are unable to steal will try to cause panic among us by hurrying us. So you have to be patient.
Meanwhile, the establishment of councils in several other local government institutions was also carried out today. In the meantime, tensions arose during establishment of the Nathandiya Pradeshia Sabha due to the opposition objecting a comment made by NPP parliamentarian for Puttalam, Gayan Janaka. Meanwhile, the Election Commission and Election Observer Pafrel commented on the establishment of councils in 178 local government institutions where no single party or independent group secured a majority.
No political party or independent group has more than 50% of councillors in 178 local government institutions. Therefore, the chairpersons and deputy chairpersons or mayors and deputy mayors of such institutions will be appointed with the intervention of the local government commissioners. Accordingly, the necessary gazette is scheduled to be published by the Minister of Public Administration, Provincial Councils and Local Government, which will outline the time period for local government commissioners to take their decisions regarding the 178 local government bodies. Though the Colombo Municipal Council was the talk of the town, it is, according to the law, just another local government body. No single political party has secured 50% of the seats in the Colombo Municipal Council. Therefore, during the council's first meeting held under the supervision of the local government commissioner, the procedure outlined by the council will be followed to elect a mayor. At this meeting, a mayor will be appointed based on the votes of a secret or an open ballot. If a mayor is not appointed at the first meeting due to lack of quorum or any other reason, the local government commissioner will announce another date within a month on which the election is likely to take place.
With that, here's a look at thoughts shared in the political arena regarding the establishment of power in local authorities.
The time for spectacles is approaching. Soon the public will see the lengths to which some parties have gone to secure power in local government councils. As for us, we will continue to stand by our principle that these councils must be run free of corruption. Unlike the NPP, we genuinely believe in building a corruption-free Sri Lanka. When the media reported yesterday on which groups could establish control over local government councils, I noticed that Sajith Premadasa's party was not even mentioned. They talked about forming an opposition through alliances, but there was no opposition alliance that contested this election. The votes the public cast were for individual parties, not for coalitions. Forming post-election alliances now is not a reflection of the people's mandate. Since no party has secured a majority in the Colombo Municipal Council, the mayor will be elected through a council vote. Based on discussions we have had with individual parties and independent groups, the SJB has received positive feedback indicating support for us to lead the CMC. We will announce our mayoral candidate tomorrow. When examining the power dynamics in the Colombo Municipal Council, it is clear that the residents of Colombo have rejected the NPP. In light of that, we will support the establishment of a council that excludes the NPP from power. The public did not vote for a combined opposition. They cast their votes individually for specific parties. All these parties contested while promoting their own policies and manifestos, not as part of an alliance. Therefore, the party that has secured the majority of seats has the legitimate right to form the council. If other parties are now attempting to form a collective to override that mandate, we view it as a conspiracy and we will not support such efforts.
North Central Provincial Governor Vasantha Jinadasa rejects allegations made by MP Dayasiri Jayasekara that luxury vehicles belonging to the North Central Provincial Council have been sold below market prices. During a press conference today, the governor further stated that the relevant vehicles had been sold according to the prescribed tender procedure and asserted that legal action would be taken against the parties who made these false allegations.
A controversial discussion circulated in society recently regarding the sale of vehicles belonging to the Presidential Secretariat through a tender process with the aim of cutting government expenses and promoting financial accountability. This came after various parties alleged that the vehicles were sold for far less than their market value. In this context, Samagi Janabalavega MP Dayasiri Jayasekara stated yesterday that 12 luxury vehicles supposedly belonging to the North Central Provincial Council have been similarly sold below market prices.
Tenders have been called in the North Central Province instead of auctions. 12 vehicles have been sold for 28 million rupees. A 2014 BMW vehicle worth of 35 million rupees has been sold for 5 lakhs. Selling 12 vehicles for 28 million rupees is like giving them away for free.
Officials of the North Central Provincial Council, including Governor Vasantha Jinadasa, responded to the allegations during a press conference today.
We did not host a vehicle auction. We called for tenders openly. The tender committees have investigated and taken a decision on how the vehicles should be sold. We obtained an assessment from the government before calling for tenders. We had the allocated price list confirmed by the committee. There are no reports of the BMW X5, a 2016 model, being present in this province for the past 4 years, nor are there any reports of anyone from this province using said vehicle. However, the vehicle was parked at the Provincial Council premises at the end of the tenure of the previous administration, but none of the officials are aware of who used this vehicle till that point. The vehicle was in a damaged state towards September last year. We tried to repair it and make use, but we were advised by experts to call tenders for it. The assessed value of the BMW X5 was 19.8 million. We sold it for 21.8 million. Therefore, the allegations against this vehicle are false. The assessed value of all vehicles are 91.2 million rupees and was sold through tenders for 123.6 million rupees. The tenders were awarded to those from areas such as Meegamuwa, Badulla and Waskaduwa. We are taking necessary steps to take legal action against the parties who made these false allegations.
සිනෙක් කැම්පස් ඕපන් ඩේ මැයි මස 3 වැනි දින උදෑසන 9 සිට සිනෙක් කැම්පස් පරිශ්‍රයේදී.
Amid a regional resurgence in COVID-19, health authorities in Sri Lanka reassured the public that there is no immediate cause for alarm, noting that protocols are already in place to manage the situation effectively. Meanwhile, the epidemiology unit states that the number of COVID cases reported in May alone has increased by 7.7% as per the tests conducted on samples of respiratory patients.
A fresh wave of COVID-19 infections has swept across parts of South and Southeast Asia, from Singapore and Hong Kong to Thailand, prompting heightened global concern. Neighbouring India is also witnessing a sharp rise of COVID-19, with active cases nearing 4,000 as of today. The cumulative death toll from COVID-19 in India since January has risen to 32, with 4 fatalities reported in the last 24 hours. Meanwhile, in Sri Lanka, authorities confirmed that no significant outbreak has been detected thus far. Nevertheless, precautionary health measures are being enforced across the country. Against this backdrop, it was later reported that the new COVID variant currently spreading in Asia have been identified in Sri Lanka. Amidst these developments, some political voices have criticized the government for its perceived lack of proactive measures to address the evolving situation.
No research or genetic analysis are currently being conducted to study the emerging subvariants of the COVID-19 virus. An alarming situation has emerged in the country with a sudden uprise in chikungunya cases. The outbreak is intensifying without any structured public health response in place to manage the crisis.
Health officials, however, have sought to calm public anxiety. They emphasized that there is no immediate cause for alarm, noting that protocols are already in place to manage this situation effectively.
According to the research conducted so far, the subvariants currently circulating are not new but were previously identified in the country last year. These are not newly evolved variants of COVID-19 and therefore the public should not be unnecessarily alarmed. It has been confirmed that the same subvariants detected last year have reappeared this year. According to recent findings, 7.7% of patients exhibiting respiratory symptoms this month alone have tested positive for COVID-19. In order to stop the spread of this virus, we urge the general public to cover their mouth and nose with a tissue or the elbow when coughing or sneezing, avoiding unnecessary contact with the face and ensuring frequent hand hygiene through proper hand washing or the use of alcohol-based hand sanitizers. Individuals exhibiting symptoms of respiratory illness should wear a face mask to minimize the risk of transmitting the infection to others. Additionally, measures have been implemented to cater to the public in case of an emergency situation.
යම් පැතිරීමක් ඇති වුණොත් ඒක කල්පනාකරණය කිරීම සඳහා අවශ්‍ය රෝහල් පද්ධතියත් අපි සූදානම තමයි තියෙන්නේ.
Meanwhile, in a special statement, Secretary to the Ministry of Health, Dr. Anil Jasinghe, clarified that no novel variants of the SARS-CoV-2 virus responsible for COVID-19 have been detected in Sri Lanka. Dr. Jasinghe explained that while the Medical Research Institute has confirmed the presence of previously identified sublineages, current tests have not revealed any new variants. Furthermore, there is no indication of increased disease severity or complications linked to the current strains.
Australia's Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Defence Richard Marles is set to make an official visit to Sri Lanka tomorrow. Issuing a statement today, Sri Lanka's Ministry of Foreign Affairs reported that Deputy Prime Minister Richard Marles is expected to meet President Anura Dissanayake, Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya and the Minister of Foreign Affairs Vijitha Herath during his visit. A discussion with the aim of further strengthening bilateral cooperation and enhancing collaboration in the defence sector is also set to take place between the Australian Deputy Prime Minister and Sri Lanka's Deputy Minister of Defence Aruna Jayasekara. The Sri Lanka Electricity Amendment Bill recently presented in Parliament has been challenged in the Supreme Court. The Ceylon Electricity Board Engineers Union filed a petition arguing that certain provisions of the bill are unconstitutional. The Supreme Court ordered that the petition be taken up for hearing on June 6th. The order was issued by a three-member bench comprising Justices A.H.M.D. Nawaz, Arjunobe Sekara and Priyantha Fernando. Welcome back to First at 9. Now, P.L. Kumara was crowned the winner of Derana 60 Plus Season 6 at the grand finale held last evening in Colombo. Derana 60 Plus is Sri Lanka's first ever reality show dedicated to senior citizens aged 60 and above, providing them with a unique platform to showcase their talents.
The grand finale of Sampath Sanghita Derana 60 Plus Season 6, the groundbreaking reality experience, took place last evening in Colombo. The event featured captivating performances by veteran singers as well as champions of Derana Dream Star, adding colour and energy to the occasion. Edward Jayakodi, Subani Harshani and Janaka Vikramasinghe served as a panel of judges for this season. During the event, veteran musicians Melroy Dharmaratna and Indrani Pereira were honoured with the Yava Prasad Prabhashana Award in recognition of their outstanding contributions to the field of music. Out of over 6,000 applicants, 3 finalists, Kularatna Silva, Sumit Premasiri and P.L. Kumara, competed in the grand finale. On the night, Kularatna Silva was placed third and was also voted most popular star by the public via SMS. Sumit Premasiri was named the runner-up. The prestigious title of Sampath Sanghita Derana 60 Plus Season 6 winner was awarded to P.L. Kumara.
In business news, the Colombo Bourse began this week on a positive note today as a result of price gains in banking sector counters such as Sampath, DFCC and National Development Bank. The benchmark all-share price index closed 0.74% higher at 16,979.89, while the more liquid S&P SL20 gained 1.07% to close at 5,034.92. Market turnover was 5.8 billion rupees. The capital goods sector emerged as the highest contributor to market turnover, followed by the diversified financial sector. Foreign participation in market activity remained at subdued levels, with foreigners closing as net sellers, offloading shares worth 168 million rupees. Research analyst of Capital Alliance, Imdad Dean, joins us now with a few thoughts to round off our Markets in View segment for the week.
The domestic stock market rose throughout the previous week. The ASPI grew 2.2% from 16,494 to 16,854. S&P SL20 rose 2.9% from 4,842 to 4,981. Market turnover increased by 158% to 38 billion rupees, which is mostly due to contributions from the banking and capital goods sector. Additionally, last week's treasury bill auctions brought in 162.5 billion rupees to the government, with interest rates on 3, 6 and 12-month bills falling 10, 20 and 31 basis points respectively.
With that, here's a look at today's exchange rates. That's all for tonight from First at 9. Thank you for joining. Have a great night.